What is going on, everyone? I'm about to display to you an awesome battle between Judai and Zane. But not just any battle, it's going to be if these two were dueling in Rush Era anime series, because I'm going to be using the Rush Era deck for Elemental Heroes and the Rush deck for Cyber Dragons. So let's see which one of these two titans of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is going to come out on top with Rush Duel rules. Let's begin. First turn is going to go to the Elemental Hero player, Judai, and that's going to be really good for Zane considering that Cyber Dragon wants the opponent to have a monster on the field. They're starting off with Ship of 7 Treasures, which discards a monster from the hand to draw one card from the deck. But if that monster is a level 7 monster, they're allowed to draw 2 cards instead, and since Tantalum is a level 7 monster, they are going to be able to draw 2 cards from the deck. Next, they're going to set a monster in defense position, summon up Elemental Hero Sparkman, set another monster in defense position, and activate the field spell Skyscraper. Next, they're going to set one card face down, and then they're going to end their turn and probably hope that Zane doesn't draw into Cyber Dragon. Right, Zane's first hand has one of his best monsters, that is Cyber Dragon, the monster his whole entire deck revolves around. Next, he's going to summon Cyber Serpent. Since there's another light machine monster in the field, he's going to mill the top 3 cards of the deck. And since 2 light machines were sent to the graveyard by the effect, they're allowed to draw 1 card from the deck. Now, Cyber Dragon Transformation Summon into Cyber Stealth Dragon. If you guys remember in the original card game, there are Cyber Dragon transformations such as Cyber Laser Dragon and Cyber Barrier Dragon. Next, they're going to summon forth Cyber Griffin. Cyber Griffin's effect is now going to activate. They're going to discard 1 card from their hand to target Cyber Stealth Dragon. Now, during this turn, Cyber Stealth Dragon cannot be destroyed by trap cards. Also, if the monster targeted by this effect is a level 5 or higher light machine monster, they're allowed to draw 1 card from their deck. 2 cards will now be set, and now the battle commences. Cyber Stealth Dragon will now attack Elemental Hero Sparkman with 2,500 attack points to Sparkman 16. Sparkman is destroyed, and 900 points of damage is removed from Judai's life points. Now the question is, will they actually go in with the other 2 monsters? Considering that Judai does have Elemental Hero Clayman, it's probably safe that they actually don't go on the attack. Another thing to take into consideration is Cyber Stealth Dragon has another amazing ability. You see, as long as Cyber Dragon is in the graveyard, it gains 2,000 defense points. So if this card can be put into defense mode, it'll be a 2,800 attack point wall, which will be able to withstand things like Elemental Hero Neos. Turn pass, Elemental Hero's turn, and they're going to draw until they have 5 cards in hand. At the moment, Elemental Heroes seem to be in pretty big danger, so they're going to set 1 monster, set 1 card face down, and they're going to flip over Elemental Hero Clayman and Elemental Hero Avion. And in case you don't know, thanks to Skyscraper, they are going to gain 1,000 attack points, but unfortunately, none of these attack points are strong enough to defeat Cyber Stealth Dragon. But they can go in the offense against the other monsters, so Avion is go and attack into Griffin for 800 points of damage. Next, Clayman with 1,800 attack points is going to attack into Serpent for 1,800 points of major damage. And from there, they'll end their turn. Now, Zane's going to draw until they have 5 cards in their hand. And the first thing they're going to activate is Iron Onslaught. As long as a machine monster's face on the field, they can destroy a spell or trap card on the field, and they're going to destroy Skyscraper. Next, they're going to summon up Crafter Drone. Crafter Drone's ability will allow it to discard 1 card from the hand to draw 1 card from the deck. They are then going to special summon Cyber Processor Dragon. Cyber Processor Dragon can be special summoned to field as long as there is a machine monster on board, even though it is a level 5 monster. It also has the ability to discard 1 card from the hand to become Cyber Dragon, and if Cyber Dragon is in the graveyard, it can revive it. But unfortunately, all the spaces have been filled up, so they won't be able to take advantage of that effect. They will now set 1 card face down. Now they're going to enter the battle phase. Cyber Stealth Dragon with 2,500 attack points is now going to attack into Elemental Hero Clayman. 1,700 points of damage is done to Judai. Processor Dragon is now going to attack into Avion. Processor Dragon is now going to attack into Avion for 500 points of damage. And Crafter Drone is not going to go on the offense at the off chance they do have a Clayman set. Turn end. Judai already has 3 cards in hand, so they can only draw 2 cards, but one of the cards they drew was Pot of Greed. So now they're going to draw into 2 new cards and hope that they can actually be able to bring out a fusion. Is it even possible at this point? First, they're going to go summon up Fake Neos. Fake Neos' effect is now going to activate by sending the top 2 cards of the deck to the graveyard, and it will become Elemental Hero Neos for this turn. Next, they're going to summon up Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. Now, Since we have Aqua Dolphin and Elemental Hero Neos on the field, Contact Fusion. Come forth the hero that rises from the abyss of Neos space, Elemental Hero Pulse Neos. And for those who are not familiar, in this game, Pulse Neos is now the Contact Fusion instead of Aqua Neos. Next, they're going to summon up Elemental Hero Sparkman. They're also going to flip over Elemental Hero Clayman, so it's a good thing they did not attack into it. Now, Pulse Neos' great effect is going to activate. Once per turn, it can target a level 9 or lower monster and just instantly destroy it. Now, Battle Phase. Elemental Hero Sparkman will now attack into Cyber Processor for 100 points of damage. Pulse Neos will now attack into Crafter Drone for 1500 points of damage. Now, Clayman will attack for 800 points of damage. Turn end. Elemental Hero deck was able to use Contact Fusion, but are they going to be able to survive against Zane, which drew into 5 brand new cards? First, they're going to special summon up Cyber Dragon. Then they're going to summon Proto Cyber Dragon. Now, do they actually have a way to be able to initiate a fusion? It does not look like it at the moment. Now they're going to activate Evolution Burst Rush. As long as they have a level 5 or higher Light Machine monster in the field, they could shuffle back 5 Light Machine monsters from their graveyards into the deck. Let's see. 4, and they'll just need 1 more, but it looks like they want to keep the Cyber Dragon there just in case. So that's 5 that are going to be shuffled back into the deck. Now that the requirement has been met, they can destroy 1 card in the field, and it's going to be Pulse Neos. Next, they're going to activate Cyber Entry, another exclusive cards for Cyber Dragons in Rush Duel. As long as they have 3 or more Light Machine monsters in the graveyard, they can special summon a Cyber Dragon or a Proto Cyber Dragon. So they're going to summon back Cyber Dragon. Now they have a lot of fuel on the field to be able to take out the opponent. Now Cyber Dragon is going to attack into Sparkman. But it seems there is a face down card. Yep, they did have a face down card, the Quaking Mirror Force. This is going to place all their monsters into face down defense position, essentially canceling out the battle phase. And with that, turn end. Judai is going to now pick up 2 more cards from their deck. Now they're going to activate the Ship of 7 Treasures, discarding 1 monster from the hand to be able to draw 1 card. If that monster was a level 7 monster, they will be able to draw 2 cards. Unfortunately, Argent is only a level 4 monster, so they only pick up 1 card from their deck. And it's a great card they picked up because it's Fusion! Now, Elemental Heroes Clayman and Sparkman will fuse together to create the unbeatable Elemental Hero Thunder Giant. But that's not all. They're now going to activate the spell card, A Hero Descends. And with that effect, they can summon back Elemental Hero Pulse Neos. They'll now set 1 monster face down, and now they're going to go on the offense. Now Pulse Neos is going to attack into the face down Cyber Dragon, and Zane also has Quaking Mirror Force, so now the 2 fusions are going to be set into defense position. Now they know the pain. Unfortunately, in this game, Quaking Mirror Force doesn't keep the monsters face down forever. So now, Zane is going to be able to attack during their turn, and it is their turn right now. Now, Heavenly Gift is activated. They can discard monsters in the hand until the total levels equal 10 or more. Then they're allowed to draw 2 cards from the deck. They're going to send 3 monsters whose total levels equal 11. That way, they will be able to draw 2 cards from the deck. Next, they're going to flip over Cyber Dragon. Then they're going to flip over their next Cyber Dragon. Now they're also going to flip over Proto Cyber Dragon. They will now tribute Proto Cyber Dragon for Cyber Processor. They're now going to set 1 card face down, and now the onslaught will begin. Cyber Dragon will now attack into the Pulse Neos. The next Cyber Dragon will now attack into the Thunder Giant. And now, Cyber Processor will attack the face-down monster because it's probably not going to be a Clayman anymore considering they already wasted all of them. Turn end. Judai only has a single card in hand, and all they have to do is take down 3,000 of Zane's life points that they are going to draw and hope they get exactly what they need. And now they're going to activate Elemental Circulation. Now they're going to reveal 1 level 6 or 7 Warrior Fusion monster from their extra deck, and that's going to be Burst Wingman. Now that they have to discard 1 of the fusion components, which is either Avion or Burstinatrix, they'll now discard Burstinatrix and draw 3 brand new cards from their deck. Then they have to discard 1 card from their hand, and they're going to discard Aqua Dolphin. And that is an amazing card. I mean, seriously, drawing 3 cards and then discarding 1, that is absolutely ridiculous. Next, they're going to summon Rising Hero Argent. They're now going to reveal Burst Wingman. And by revealing Burst Wingman, if they're going to mill the top 4 cards of the deck, and any of the fusion components that are sent to the graveyard by this effect can be added to the hand. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. A complete whiff on every single one of them, which absolutely hurts. My goodness. Next, they're going to summon up Aqua Dolphin, and then they're going to go tribute both of them. 4. Elemental Hero Neos. When this card is activated, they'll shuffle back 2 machine or warrior monsters from the graveyard into the deck. Then that monster that was just summoned will be placed in face down defense position. If they also control the fusion monster, that monster would have been returned to the deck. But at this moment, Neos would just go face down. Next, they're going to activate a Hero Descends. This is now summon back Elemental Hero Neos from the graveyard. Now Neos is still ever present and can become a threat. So now next they're going to summon up Flare Scarab. And now Contact Fusion. Come forth the Burning Hero of Neospace. Elemental Hero Heat Neos. Yup, in this game it's not Flare Neos, it's Heat Neos in this game. Next they're going to summon forth Free the Brave Wanderer. Now they're going to activate the effect of Neos. They're going to send the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard, and now Neos is going to gain 200 attack points for every card on the field. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 1600 extra attack points, making this monster now have 4100 attack points. Now to activate Freeze effect. This legend monster has an incredibly powerful effect. They're going to take 2 light monsters from their graveyard and they will put them in the bottom of their deck, and by doing so, they're allowed to destroy 1 monster in the field that has higher attack points than Freed. So now they're going to put Argent in the bottom, and they're also going to put the Thunder Giant back into their extra deck, and now one of the Cyber Dragons is going to go bye-bye. And with Neos set this turn thanks to Ether Escape, they can only attack with these 2 monsters on the field. So now Neos is going to attack into Cyber Dragon with 4100, taking away 2000 points of damage from Zane. That is ridiculous. Now Frida is going to attack for 200 points of damage. And now, turn end. Now let's see if Zane can actually change things around. They're going to draw until they have 5 cards in hand. Now they're going to summon to the field Cyber Kodo. Cyber Kodo's effect is now going to activate. They can now excavate the top 3 cards of their deck. And if there are any level 5 light machine monsters among them, they can special summon them. So 1, 2, and 3, and here comes the Cyber Dragon. The rest are returned to the bottom of the deck. Next, they're going to activate Cyber Entry. Because they have 3 or more light machine monsters in the graveyard, they can now special summon back Cyber Dragon from the graveyard. Cyber Dragon is now on the field. Now they're going to activate Fusion. This is now going to fuse together the 2 Cyber Dragons into the brand new Rush Duel monster, Cyber Rush Dragon. All it requires is 2 Cyber Dragons to be able to summon this card. Now Rush Dragon's effect is going to activate. Zane is going to pick up cards and add them to their hand until they have 5, and then they're going to discard 4 cards from their hand. They're going to discard these 4. But that's not all, because now 1 machine monster could be special summoned straight from the hand. Steel Mech Lord, Mirror Innovator. Mirror Innovator's effect activates, shuffling up to 3 monsters from the graveyard back into the deck as long as they're the same type as Mirror Innovator, and then they will gain 100 attack points times the level of the monster sent back. But if they only send back 1 monster, they're allowed to inflict piercing battle damage. So they're going to try to bet on doing some major life point damage by shuffling back 1 Cyber Dragon. So now that's 2,900 attack points and piercing. So now they're going on the attack. 2,900 to the set monster, and is Elemental Hero Neo. So that's going to be 900 points of damage taken away from Judai. Next, Cyber Rush is going to take out Heat Neos for 300. And unfortunately, Cyber Kodo is far too weak to be able to do what he thinks that all they can do is end their turn. Judai now has victory in sight, and they are going to pick up 5 cards from the top of their deck. They are now going to summon forth Hero Boy. Hero Boy's effect is going to activate by tributing itself as long as Skyscraper or Fusion is in the graveyard, and add up to 2 cards from their graveyard as long as it's Fusion or a normal warrior monster. So they're going to take back Fusion, Elemental Hero, Burstinatrix. Next, they're going to summon up another Hero Boy, and they're going to use the effect 1 more time. They're now going to get back Avion, and Clayman. Now they're going to summon a fourth Avion and Burstinatrix. Now Fusion. They will now fuse into Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. Next they're going to activate Miracle Fusion. This will now shuffle back Flame Wingman and Elemental Hero Sparkman to the bottom of the deck. They will now summon forth a brand new Elemental Hero, Judai's first ace in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime of Season 1. This is going to become the unbelievably powerful Shining Flare Wingman. Now, Shining Flare Wingman's effect in this game gains 300 attack points for every warrior monster in your graveyard. So now, let's count them up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 3000, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, oh my goodness, 51, 5,400 extra attack points, making this monster 7,900 attack points, but we can make it even stronger by summoning up Clayman and then tributing both for Neos. So that 7,900 is now gonna go up to a massive 8,500 attack points, and that is going to attack into Cyber Rush Dragon. Not only is the battle damage way too high, but this monster also has the ability to burn the opponent for the attack of the destroyed monster. So Shining Flare Wingman takes it. Hey everyone, this is Ventus from the future editing this video, and yeah, I realized I did make some misplays with some of the cards' effects. I deeply apologize about that. Some of the mistakes mattered, some of them didn't matter, but yeah, the cards are in Japanese, so it is hard for me to reference the effects of the cards. I will try to do better next time, but yeah, some of you probably noticed some misplays. I apologize about that, but I hope you still enjoyed this round and enjoyed the upcoming round as well. Alright, since Zane lost the first round, they're going to choose to go second, which again is great for Cyber Dragons. So let's see. First, Judai's going to start with Elemental Circulation. For this time, they're going to reveal Elemental Hero Thunder Giant. And by revealing Elemental Hero Thunder Giant, they're going to have to discard Sparkman or Clayman to draw 3 cards. So Sparkman is going to the graveyard to draw 3 brand new cards from their deck. And now they must discard 1 card from their hand, and they are going to discard, Elemental Hero Sparkman. So now all their Sparkmen are gone. Next, they're going to summon up Fake Neos. Fake Neos' effect is now going to activate by sending the top 2 cards of the deck to the graveyard to become Elemental Hero Neos. Unfortunately, it did not work out well for them. But they're going to activate the Ship of 7 Treasures to send Cross Porter to the graveyard to draw 1 card from the deck. They are now going to set 2 cards and activate Skyscraper. Turn end. Alrighty, and oh goodness, there's no way. Well, this is going to be a thing. So first, Proto Cyber Dragon is going to be summoned. Because Proto Cyber Dragon is in the field, Cyber Processor could be special summoned to the field. Cyber Processor can now discard 1 card from the hand to be counted as Cyber Dragon. So Cyber Dragon is now discarded. But Cyber Processor has another party effect to revive a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard after becoming Cyber Dragon. So here comes Cyber Dragon. Next, they're going to activate Iron Onslaught. As long as they have a machine monster in the field, they can destroy 1 spell tracker on the opponent's field, and they're going to choose the middle one, which is Miracle Fusion, for goodness sakes. Next, they're going to activate the spell card Power Bond. Now, all 3 of these monsters do count as Cyber Dragon, so they're going to be able to fuse all 3 of them to create the ace monster of Zane's deck. That is going to be the unbelievably powerful, unstoppable, supreme Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon will now have its attack points doubled thanks to Power Bond, but Zane will lose 4,000 life points at the end of the round. But that doesn't really matter. Cyber End Dragon's 8,000 attack points is going to attack into Fake Neos' 1,300. A massive 6,700 points of damage lost on turn number 2. That is wild. And since Zane has no other cards, they end their turn, and I don't know if Judai at this point can actually stop that monster. Maybe they could have stopped it with a powered up Flame Wingman, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything much to stop that at all. Oops, and we forgot we have to take away Zane's life points, but let's see if they have anything that will actually work. And their hand is not looking very, very strong to be able to handle much, but they do have Free the Brave Wanderer. Free the Brave Wanderer's effect now activates. They can now shuffle back 2 light monsters to the bottom of the deck, so I guess it's not really shuffling because they're just putting them in the bottom, but it'll be a Fake Neos and Argent will go to the bottom of the deck, and that actually will be enough to destroy the Cyber End Dragon. Now, can they capitalize and inflict the last points of damage? Unfortunately, they don't have pretty much what it takes to do so, so they're going to just tribute these two monsters. For our hero, Tantalum, what they're going to do now is discard the top card of their deck, and Tantalum's attack points will increase by 400. And they discard to the top Elemental Hero Neos, which is pretty great to have that in the graveyard to revive later. But unfortunately, they don't have other things they can do at the moment. They can't even make any fusions. What they're going to do now is replace Skyscraper with Skyscraper, so they have 5 cards to draw next turn, and they're going to attack for 2,900 onto Zane's life points. They were so close, but Zane just has to fight back and do 1,300 points more damage to the opponent, and let's see if Zane could actually do it. First thing that's going to happen is Cyber Kodo. Cyber Kodo's effect is going to activate. Since it's the only monster on the field, they are going to activate the top 3 cards in their deck. And there was a Cyber Dragon, so it will be summoned to the field, while the rest of the cards will now be placed in the bottom. That is unbelievable. They actually got the Cyber Dragon from it, which is just freaking crazy. Next, they're going to special summon up Cyber Processor. Now they're going to set 2 cards, and at the moment they can't really beat over Tantalum, but they're going to tribute these 2 monsters for Mirror Innervator. Mirror Innervator's effect is now going to activate, and it's going to shuffle back up to 3 machine monsters into the deck and gain 100 attack points times the level of the monsters that were shuffled back into the deck. So they're going to shuffle back the level 5 Cyber Processor. They're also going to shuffle back the level 5 Cyber Processor, and now the level 10 Cyber End Dragon, meaning Mirror Innervator will now gain 2,000 extra attack points. And with that 44 to 25, that is game over unless Judai has a face down card. Do they have that Quaking Mirror Force? And they don't, and that is game over. Now for round 3. Alright people, this is it, the third and final round, and Judai's gonna let Zane go first. That way that Cyber Dragon won't have much of an advantage. So first thing they're gonna do is summon up Crafter Drone. Crafter Drone's now gonna discard a card from their hand and be able to draw a card. So they'll discard Cyber Processor to draw a card from their deck. They'll never summon up another Crafter Drone and discard Cyber Kodo, which is great because Cyber Kodo only works with the only monster in the field, and that's not happening at this moment, so they'll be able to draw another card from the deck. They'll now tribute 2 for Mirror Innervator and not use the effect. Set 2 cards face down and end the turn. Judai will now draw a card from their deck, and they're going to activate Elemental Circulation. And well, I already have Thunder Giant face up from the last time I used it, so they're going to discard Sparkman from their hand to draw 3 cards from their deck and be able to discard 1. That's going to be Elemental Hero Neos. Then they're going to summon up our hero Argent. Argent's effect is now going to activate, and they're going to reveal Burst Wingman with the effect. Now they're going to mill the top 4 cards of the deck, and if there's any Avian or Burst Intrix, they will be added to the hand. Oh, maybe Thunder Giant should have been chosen. 3 and 4, and they lost their Legend Trap card as well, so nothing too great at the moment there. But they're going to activate Skyscraper. Next, they're going to summon Aqua Dolphin. Now, a Hero Descends. A Hero Descends is now going to revive Elemental Hero Neos. Now, once more, Contact Fusion. Elemental Hero Pulse Neos now comes to the board. They're now going to set 1 card. Pulse Neos effect is going to activate and destroy Mirror Innervator. Mirror Innervator is destroyed now for the onslaught. First, 1,000 points of damage. Next, 2,500 points of damage. Now, at this point, even if Zane were to summon Cyber End Dragon and use Power Bond, they still will be able to survive the end of the turn by 500 more life points, so they still haven't destroyed Zane's ultimate strategy yet, and they're going to end the turn. Right now, their hand is looking pretty rough, so they're going to use Heavenly Gift to discard Proto Cyber Dragon and Cyber Assault Dragon, which is another one of the transformation dragons they could have used to draw 2 cards from their deck. Now they're going to normal summon Griffin and special summon Cyber Processor. They're going to use the effect of Griffin, I suppose. That would probably be the best thing they can do at the moment, so they can be able to draw a card from their deck. But is it the absolute best thing they can do at this moment? Well, we're going to have to find out. Next, they're going to use Griffin's effect to target Processor. They are now going to discard Onslaught, and now Processor can't be destroyed by trap cards this turn, and since they target level 5 or higher like machine monster with the effect, they will be able to draw a card from their deck. They are now going to use the effect of Cyber Processor. Can they? Is there any Cyber Dragons in the graveyard? Unfortunately, there's no Cyber Dragons in the graveyard. They'll use the effect anyway to become Cyber Dragon, and then they're going to activate Cyber Entry. Because they have 3 or more Light Machine monsters in the graveyard, they can special summon Cyber Dragon or Proto Cyber Dragon. So Proto Cyber Dragon will come straight to the field. Next, they're going to activate Fusion. They are now going to fuse Proto Cyber Dragon, which counts as Cyber Dragon, and Cyber Processor, which counts as Cyber Dragon, to fuse into Cyber Twin Dragon. Cyber Twin Dragon has the ability to attack twice, so they're going to be able to completely destroy the Pulse Neos and the Argent. First, Griffin is going to attack into Argent for 200 points of damage. Next, they're going to attack for 300 points of damage into the Elemental Hero. Pulse Neos has now been destroyed. Now they're going to attack once more for 2,800. And just like that, they're going to end their turn. Now Judai has to fight really, really hard at this moment because they are not looking very good. So they're going to activate the Ship of 7 Treasures. This will allow them to discard a monster. And since that monster was a level 7 monster, they will be able to draw 2 cards from their deck. That's 2 cards drawn. Now they summon a Cross Porter. Cross Porter's effect is going to activate to special summon a warrior monster from the graveyard with 2,500 attack and 2,000 defense points. And that's going to be Pulse Neos. Next, they're going to activate Magical Stone Excavation, discard 2 cards from their hand to add 1 spell card back from the graveyard to their hand, and that's going to be Elemental Circulation. Next, they're going to activate Elemental Circulation and reveal Pulse Neos. Now, by revealing Pulse Neos, they can discard Aqua Dolphin or Elemental Hero Neos to draw 3 cards. So they're going to discard Aqua Dolphin and draw 3 cards from their deck. 1, 2, and 3. And then they are going to discard 1 from their hand. They're going to discard our Hero Metashider from their hand to the graveyard. And they are going to pick up, and they're going to add Fusion and Sparkman. Next, they're going to summon up Sparkman, but Zane is also going to have a trap card to activate. From what I remember, there they go. Multiple Adapter Unit. With this effect, they can do a pseudo transformation summon. So first, they'll put Sparkman in defense mode since it was just summoned, and tribute a level 5 or higher monster to summon a Cyber Stealth Dragon or Cyber Assault Dragon from the graveyard, and they're going to choose Cyber Assault Dragon. So now that's 1 less attack that Judai can do. Next, they're going to summon up Elemental Hero Avion, which now has 1,000 extra attack points, and they're going to use the effect of Pulse Neos to destroy the Cyber Assault Dragon. Now, Avion is going to attack for 800 points of damage. Next, Pulse Neos will attack for 3,500 points of damage. Now, I forgot they have that card also set as well, so now they're just going to end their turn there. So let's see. Does Zane actually have something they can fight with at this moment? First, they'll special summon Cyber Dragon. Then they're going to summon a Proto Cyber Dragon and tribute Proto Cyber Dragon for Cyber Stealth Dragon. Remember, Cyber Stealth Dragon also has an effect that it can't be destroyed by the opponent's monster effects, which means that Pulse Neos will not be able to destroy the Cyber Stealth Dragon with the effect. They'll set another card, and now they have no choice but for Assault Dragon to attack into Pulse Neos, and now for 21, they're going to do 1,100 points of damage to Judai. And now that's it, turn in. And it seems that Judai has got this in the bag. They just have to do 200 points of damage. Now, can they do it? First thing they're going to do is summon up Fake Neos. Fake Neos is going to build the top 2 cards of the deck and become Elemental Hero Neos until the end phase of this turn. Next, they'll activate a Hero Descends, and that will revive Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. Aqua Dolphin and Neos are both on the field, so contact Fusion. And now come forth Elemental Hero Pulse Neos. And I keep forgetting this was an actual crash, so this has to get destroyed as well, but it doesn't matter because this is more than enough. 3,500 attack points is strong enough to be able to win this. Just for a little bit more damage, I'll just tribute Sparkman and the Cross Porter here, and summon forth Elemental Hero Neos. Unfortunately, there's nothing to be able to fuse with. They do have Fusion, Miracle Fusion, and Miracle Fusion, but there are no Claymans or Burstinatrix to be able to fuse with Sparkman or Avion, so that's not going to work out. But yeah, 3,500 attack points. Let's clear out the board. First, it's going to be Neos, and now Pulse Neos is going to attack 3,500 into that Cyber Dragon's 21, and that is game. Judai in Rush Era takes the win. Alright everyone, I'm hoping you guys actually enjoyed that duel between Zane and Judai. But before ending this video, let's do a small deck list. So if you want to be able to build the Zane deck that I use, then I'm going to show you the cards as well as the Judai deck. So first thing you're going to need for the Zane deck is, of course, 3 Cyber Dragons. It's like the best card in the entire deck. Everything revolves around the use of Cyber Dragon. Next, you're going to use Proto Cyber Dragon because 3 is not enough. You don't just want 3 Cyber Dragons, now you got 3 more. They count as Cyber Dragon while on the field, so perfect. But that's not the only one that's going to count as Cyber Dragon. Next, I'm going to show you guys Cyber Processor. This is another card that counts as Cyber Dragon. Despite being level 5, you saw how this thing worked in the duel. Just special summon itself, discard a card to count as Cyber Dragon, and then revives Cyber Dragon. Now remember, it revives Cyber Dragon, not Proto Cyber Dragon. It has to be Cyber Dragon in the graveyard. But these 3 together count as Cyber Dragon, which is awesome. Then we have the retrain of Cyber Laser Dragon, which is Cyber Assault Dragon. Now, Cyber Assault Dragon has an effect that it can instantly special summon by tributing a Cyber Dragon monster, which could be any of the 3 that we just put over there. And what will happen is that it will just get special summoned to the field, and you could return a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard, remember specifically Cyber Dragon, to the top of your deck to destroy one of your opponent's monsters that is level 8 or lower with 2400 or more attack points. It's just a better Cyber Laser Dragon. Then of course we have the Transformation Dragon, which is Cyber Stealth Dragon. Cyber Stealth Dragon is pretty amazing. Again, distribute a Cyber Dragon, summon it to the field, has 2500 attack points, and as long as Cyber Dragon is in the graveyard, it'll gain 2000 defense points, and it can be destroyed by monster effects. So that'll be 2800 defense points, and they can pretty much just wall things like Pulse Neos. Fortunately, that couldn't happen in this duel. Next, we have 3 Cyber Kodos, one of the best turn 1 cards you can play. Aside from Cyber Dragon, essentially you excavate the top 3 cards of your deck. If there is a Light Machine level 5 monster that's excavated, you can then just special summon it straight to the field and put the rest of the cards at the bottom of the deck. Remember, that works with both Cyber Dragon and Cyber Processor, who is also level 5. 3 Cyber Griffins, you can target a machine monster you control. Discard a card from your hand. This turn it can't be destroyed by trap cards, but if that card is a light machine monster, you can be able to draw a card as well, which means you're not really giving up anything from your hand. So essentially, you're just recovering the card back to your hand without actually losing a card. Next, Cyber Servant, you can do with or without this card. I just put it in because it's in theme, but if you have other monsters on the field, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and if 2 out of 3 of them are light machine monsters, or at least minimum 2 out of 3 of them are light machine monsters, you draw a card. Mirror Innovator, one of the best cards in the deck, a light machine monster, and this is technically a Yugioh card, but it works so well in Cyber Dragons. You shuffle back up to 3 monsters with the same type as Mirror Innovator, so if you ever did change Mirror Innovator's type, you could pretty much use this for any deck. Return them to the deck, and you'll gain 100 attack points times the level the monster's return. Now, if you return only 1 monster, this card also inflicts piercing during that turn, so you can return 3 for a maximum power-up, or you can turn 1 for a minimum power-up, but you gain piercing. Crafter Drone, you guys probably use this a lot in Duel Links. You just discard a machine monster, draw a card. Free the Brave Wanderer is going to be the legend monster. Shuffle 2 light monsters into the bottom of the deck. I keep saying shuffle, it's not shuffle. It's place 2 light monsters at the bottom of the deck. Destroy a monster stronger than Freed. Power Bond, you guys know this does Peaceful Self. Fusion, summon to a machine type monster, doubles attack points, and then you take its original attack to your life points at the end of the turn. 3 fusions. 3 Cyber Entry. It's pretty easy to get light machine monsters in your graveyard as long as there are 3 or more in the graveyard. Special summon a Proto Cyber Dragon or a Cyber Dragon. This is great that it also specifies Proto Cyber Dragon, unlike some of the other cards that needed to be specifically Cyber Dragon. Evolution Rush Burst, you could do with or without this card. You shuffle 5 light machine monsters from your graveyard into the deck and destroy 1 card in the field. You also need to have a level 5 or higher machine monster in the field to use it. It's okay. It's okay card. I mean, it's just a way to get rid of a problematic card if you really need to. Granted, your graveyard is very sacred. You do want a lot of things to be sticking in your graveyard, so this could kind of hurt it a little bit, but you know, I don't really see anything to really replace this with at the moment. But maybe if Cyber Dragon gets more stuff, then maybe I'll do it. Iron Onslaught, it is the machine type back row destroyer card. Got a machine, just destroy back row. Heavenly Gift for draw power, discard up to as many monsters in your hands, as long as their levels equal 10 or more, then draw 2 cards from your deck. You do have some level 5s in the deck, and you do have the Transformation Cyber Dragons, which are level 8 monsters. So you can easily pull this off to draw 2 new cards to the deck and put cards in the graveyard. Remember, you can revive your Cyber Dragon with Entry and Processor right over here. Magical Stone Excavation, be able to discard 2 cards to get back any type of spell card you want, as namely Power Bond. So if you accidentally mill it, you could get Power Bond right back, because remember, you can only run 1 Power Bond in your deck because it is your legend spell card. Ether Escape is a pretty nice card. Shuffle back 2 warrior or machine monsters when you graveyard to the deck, and when your opponent normal summons a monster, you just get to set that monster. But if you have a fusion monster, which you can do a lot of the times because this is a fusion deck, you could then target any set card your opponent controls and shuffle into the deck, including the monster you just set with this effect, so that's pretty nice. Quaking Mirror Force. This card is very annoying in the original game, but not as much in this game. Essentially, when your opponent attacks, turn all their opponent's monsters to face on defense position. In the original game, they can't change their battle position. That's not in this game. In this game, they can't change their battle position back, which I understand. You only have 3 monster card zones. You can pretty much just lock your opponent out if you do that. So I understand the purpose of this, allowing them to flip face up at least. Multiple adapter unit. As long as you have a level 5 or higher machine monster, your opponent summons a monster, you contribute that monster to summon Cyber Stealth Dragon or Cyber Stealth Dragon from your graveyard to the field. It's essentially Photon Generator unit and the barrier one, the barrier trap card for the original Cyber Dragon deck to summon Cyber Barrier Dragon. Essentially, this allows you to go to any transformation forms by your opponent just summoning a monster. The best one to go into is Stealth Dragon, because you can summon defensible with 2800 defense points, and it will be immune to your opponent's monster destruction effects, so not bad. You can go with or without the card. Cyber Stealth Dragon is the best one in the deck. You don't really need Cyber Stealth Dragon or Cyber Search Dragon, which I don't have because it is a promo card, and you don't really need to run this, but I just put it in theme and flavor. Next, we have 2 Cyber Run Dragons. One is a super rare, one is the Overrush rare. This looks beautiful, and you can technically make them, because remember, Magical Stone Excavation, you can make, you can get Power Bond back, so that's not too bad. Cyber Twin Dragon, I would run more, but I only got 1, but nice card. Cyber Tactical Dragon, which is a pretty nice card. We didn't get to see it, but it's the fusion of Cyber Assault Dragon plus any Cyber Dragon, and look at 3200 attack points, and what it does is it'll shuffle back 2 light machine monsters into your deck. Then you could destroy up to 2 of your opponent's monsters that have lower attack points than this card. If you summon this with Power Bond, you're clearing off 2 monsters pretty easily. Next, we have Cyber Rush Dragon, which is also an amazing card. It just requires 2 Cyber Dragons, so I guess it's okay that I didn't get another Cyber Twin Dragon. They have the same stats, and essentially you get to draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, discard 4 cards, and then you could special summon 1 machine monster from your hand. If you do draw into Mirror Innovator, that is the best one to be able to just summon with this card. Then you can use Mirror Innovator's effect to bump it up by a lot of attack points. We've seen this used in the duels. Next, we're going to have the Elemental Hero deck list. So, of course, we're going to have 2 Avions, 2 Burst Enertrix, 2 Clayman, 2 Sparkman, no Bubble Man, because at the moment I don't have Mudball Man, and if I don't have Mudball Man, I am not running Bubble Man. And I also want to let you know that you could run an Elemental Hero version of this deck, or just an E-Hero Neos version of the deck, but I don't have a 3rd structure deck, so I can't really make the 2 separate decks, and I would also need Mudball Man as well to justify, having Bubble Man in that deck as well. So I did just the combination deck. So, yep, and here's going to go Neos, and of course, it works pretty well. You guys saw it. It can get some pretty mean plays between Shining Flare Wingman and Pulse Neos and Flare and Heat Neos. Goodness, it's crazy. Next, we have Aqua Dolphin. You guys pretty much know what this does. Discard a card from your hand. Your opponent has to discard a monster from their hand from your choice, as long as you have a monster on the field that has higher attack points than it. And in Rush Duel, that's going to be pretty easy to do, because you can easily bring out Neos, and with Skyscraper, any of your heroes can be over 2,000 attack points. That's pretty easy. Flare Scarab, not too great. Just 400 for every spell attack card your opponent controls. Doesn't really matter. You're just going to use it for Heat Neos. Then you have our hero Argent, which is a pretty nice card. You reveal level 6 or 7 Warrior Fusion monster from your extra deck. Build the top 4 cards of your deck, and any of the fusion components that are normal monsters among them can be added to your hand, at least up to 2. Then, of course, we have our hero Tantalum, which is a great beater. Discard the top card of your deck, it gains 400 attack points, and if you have a fusion monster on the field, you could then destroy one of your opponent's level 8 or lower monsters. My fault. You don't destroy. You return it to the hand. So this is actually a nice way to get rid of something like Cyber Stealth Dragon, because it doesn't actually destroy it. Then you have Benestrider. When it's summoned, you could send the card from your hand to the bottom of your deck, and then you could take any of the 2 R heroes and add them from your graveyard to your hand. Fake Neos, great card. Build the top 2 cards of your deck. It becomes Elemental Hero Neos into the end phase. Hero Boy, as long as you have Skyscraper or Fusion in your graveyard, you can then tribute it and add a combination of 2 normal Warrior or Fusion from your graveyard to your hand. This is great for resetting up your fusion plays. Cross Border, tribute itself, summon a warrior monster with 2500 attack and 2000 defense in your graveyard straight to the field. That includes Neos and its fusions. Free the Brave Wanderer, we already saw what this card does. Miracle Fusion, you can do a fusion by shuffling from your field or graveyard to the bottom of your deck. Again, it's not shuffling, it's just returning them to the bottom, but there is no banishing, so essentially putting cards in the bottom of the deck is like banishing in this game. Elemental Circulation, best card in the deck, at least one of them. You reveal one of your Warrior Fusion monsters, and then you have to then discard a card from your hand that is one of the materials, draw 3 cards, and then discard one. It is absolutely amazing. It sets up so many good plays. Hero Descends, you can choose up to 2 normal warrior or Neospatian Flare Scarab and Aqua Dolphin from your graveyard. Special summon them to the field, but their levels have to equal 7 or lower. So if you do target Neos with this, it can only be Neos. Then we're gonna have Skyscraper ×2 during your turn. All your normal warriors gain 1000 attack, as well as all of your warrior fusion monsters as well. So that's pretty hype. 2 fusion, you only need 2 fusion because we do have Hero Boy, and Hero Boy will be able to get that right back. Pot of Greed, just throw more cards. Magical Stone Excavation, so you can get back Miracle Fusion as well as Fusion if you really need it. Staple card, Ship of 7 Treasures, discard a monster from your hand, draw 1 card. If it's a level 7 monster, you're drawing 2. Quaking Mirror Force, the only trap card in the deck. I could add that Burning Wind whatever card, but I gotta go check to see if I'm gonna do that or not. Next, Double Flame Wingman. Destroys a monster in battle. It'll do burn damage equal to that monster's attack points. Pretty awesome. Burst Wingman, awesome card. Takes the same materials as Flame Wingman. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, pop an opponent's back row, and then choose a warrior monster you control. Gains 1000 to the end of the turn. Didn't really get to use it in this duel, but it is an absolutely amazing card. Elements of Hero Thunder Giant, absolutely amazing card as well. Discard a card from your hand, destroy opponent's monster has lower attack points, original lower attack points than Thunder Giant. Now the thing is, if you use this in Skyscraper, he's gonna have 3400 attack points. Remember, the way Skyscraper works in Rush Duel, it's during your turn completely, not just during the battle phase or when you attack. 3400 attack points, which means you'll be able to destroy any of your opponent's monsters that have 3400 or less original attack points. That's insane. Shining Flare Wingman, the game ender of the deck. This card gains so much attack points thanks to its new effect of gaining 300 for every warrior in your graveyard instead of just elemental hero. It's absolutely ridiculous. It clinches games. You have to defeat your opponent before they go too hard on you. And the thing is, there's so many cards in this deck that discard. I mean, you got Argent, which is going to send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. You have Fake Neos, which is going to send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. You have Tantalum, that's going to send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. You have Elemental Circulation, which is going to discard 2 cards, essentially just to activate it. You can put so many warriors in the graveyard so incredibly fast. Next, we're going to have Heat Neos. You send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and it's going to gain 200 for every card on the field. It's not too great, but it does reach the attack points it's necessary to be able to beat over a lot of things, especially within Skyscraper. And lastly, Pulse Neos, the best Neos fusion probably in any version of the game. You know, at least the best Neos plus 1 Neospatian fusion. Because Nebula Neos is pretty crazy, the fact that it lets you draw a lot. But yeah, being able to just pop a level 9 or lower monster without being able to discard anything or giving up life points or anything, you just do it. It's amazing. It's the one to always go into. It is the best of the Neos fusions, and the fact that it's revivable by a couple of cards in the deck, because remember, the Contact Fusion cards don't have the wording that they can't only be special summoned by fusion summon, so you can revive these cards back. Absolutely ridiculous. So I hope you guys enjoyed the duels and the deck list, and let me know if you have any suggestions. I'm building with the best of what I got. I do have other cards I could add, but I just want to keep a lot of flavor into the deck as well and keep it as closest to what I think Judai and Zane would use in real life. Of course, I am missing Rot Wyvern and Bubble Man, but they just don't fit very well in this build. Maybe when other cards come out, then I'll be able to do it. You know, if they release Elemental Hero Tempest or Steam Healer, anything like that, then Bubble Man is going to have a place within the deck. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles and the deck, you know, the deck list part of this video as well. So until next time, people, peace out.